Hey there, and welcome back to Above the Noise. If you're a business owner and you've been burned by marketing that has overpromised and underdelivered, then guess what? This is the podcast for you. I'm Christy Wilson, and if you're like I was years ago, you've probably spent a ton of money. You've been locked into contracts and you didn't see results you were hoping for. No ROI, right? Well, here's the thing. It's not your fault. You just haven't found the right partner yet. Today, we're going to go in and break down some real strategies that business owners like you can use to grow your business, attract more customers, clients, patients, and finally see a return on your marketing efforts. All right, if you're ready, let's do it. Today, we're talking about struggling businesses because of visibility. Your business isn't struggling because of a sales problem. Nope. It's struggling because no one even knows you exist. Here's the hard truth, the facts. You could have the best product or service in the world, but guess what? If people can't find you, they won't buy from you. They won't know it's there. SEO, ads, social media, these are all tools. They're not the actual solution. They're tools. So if you don't have the right visibility strategy, none of it's going to work. Also, most businesses, they throw money at marketing that doesn't work because they're trying to fix the wrong problem. But don't worry, I have you covered. And today we are going to talk about a few things around that. Really, the three biggest reasons that your business is invisible online and how to fix that. We're going to talk about the attention algorithm, how to get your business in front of the right audience without burning through a ton of ad spend because you're small business, right? You don't have a ton of ad spend. We're also going to talk about what top brands are doing right now to dominate their market and how you can do that too, right? Steal that information, steal that inspiration, take it. Let's make your business impossible to ignore because you're ready to be seen, you're ready to be heard, and you're ready to get paid. All right. So if your business is feeling like it's invisible, don't worry. You're not alone. Many business owners that we take on as clients, they come to us, they're frustrated. They say, I've tried SEO, I've run ads, I'm posting on social media every day, and nothing is working. And most people are just focusing on the wrong things. So let's get into it and break it down. All right. Let's talk about the three biggest reasons that your business isn't getting the attention it deserves. And more importantly, let's talk about how to fix them, right? That's what we want. We want to be able to fix them so that you can become visible, right? Because you probably have a great solution, a great service, a great product. You're just not visible. So first reason is sometimes we're not showing up where our customers are actually looking. Right? A lot of businesses will focus a ton on their website, and a website, landing page, social media page, they're important. But the reality is that your customers aren't starting their search there, right? They're Googling solutions. They're finding it on other platforms. They're chat GPTing it, right? They're scrolling through social media and there it is. They're checking reviews. And again, back to Google or YouTube. YouTube is like number 2 to Google in search, right? So how do we fix this? Well, number 1, we make sure our business is listed on Google My Business, Yelp if it's applicable, industry-specific directories, and then we optimize that profile for search intent. What questions are your customers asking? Make sure you're answering them in your content. And be present in the right communities. This is a big miss. A lot of money left on the table, a lot of opportunity left on the table. This can be Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, Reddit, wherever your people are hanging out. That's where you need to be, right? Another big thing that I see that is a problem is messaging. What do I mean by messaging? So the messaging should be speaking directly to exactly who you want to talk to, right? So if your messaging is unclear, you can have the best product, the best service, the best solution. But again, if that messaging isn't crystal clear, people will not understand why they should choose you. They won't get it, right? So what's the fix for this? And I see a lot of clients that we're onboarding that messaging is a big challenge. The first thing I always tell them is let's simplify your message. Who are you looking to speak to? Who do you help? What does it solve? Who are you solving a problem for? And second, let's answer then, what problem are you solving? A problem they have and don't want. It's keeping them up at night. It can be a mini problem, a larger problem. And then last, why should they trust you? I always tell people to use a quick 5-second test. If someone lands on your social media, your website, your profile, whatever it is, landing page you're sending them to, can they immediately tell what you do? If not, guess what? You're losing potential customers. They're leaving. Attention spans are short. Another big piece of this in the messaging, stop focusing on you. That's right. It's not about you. It's about them. So start focusing on your customer. People don't care about the features. They don't care about your product features. They care about the outcome you provide, the outcome they want and don't have that solves the problem they have and don't want. Okay. And then finally, a big reason that I see people just staying invisible is they're relying on just one marketing channel. If you're only running Facebook ads or you're only posting on Instagram, that's a big risk, right? Single point of failure. We always talked about it in ops, not a good thing. Algorithms change, popularity changes, platforms die off, right? MySpace, anyone? Just saying. And if that's your only source of visibility, you're in a little bit of hot water, right? You're in trouble. So how do we fix that? We diversify and have a mix of organic search, social media, email marketing, partnerships, depending on, again, where your customers are at. How are you going to reach them? Right? We might leverage video content because right now that's prioritized on nearly every platform and it can build trust faster than your typical posts, right? Yes, we think long-term SEO, blogging, and building an email list will give you your own list so you don't rely on a platform that may or may not be around. Look at TikTok recently, right? Just saying, huh? It also gives you visibility that lasts, right? Another thing, the attention algorithm. We've heard of that, right? How do we get our business in front of the right audience, the right eyes, the right ears without burning through ad spend? Because, right, we're a small business. We may not have a huge budget, or even if we do you really want to waste on ad spend without that good ROI? You don't. So let's talk about the attention algorithm. That's right. Repeat it with me. The attention algorithm. It is not a super secret AI formula, super technical thing. This is the real, actual, humanized way to make your business stand out. Because the thing is, people don't just buy on a need. They don't buy what they need. They don't. They buy what emotion drives them to buy, right? They buy an outcome. Not necessarily what they need, right? They buy based on who grabbed their attention first to solve the problem or perceived problem that they have. That's an important one. We'll come back to that. So how do you do that without a huge budget, without spending a lot of money on ads, whether that's Meta, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn? They all get expensive fast. I'm not saying don't use ads. I'm saying don't rely solely on that. So the first step is we want to hook them in immediately. People's attention spans are so short. So if your content, if your message doesn't grab them immediately, they're going to scroll past it. right? So we can use different methods depending on who we're speaking to. We can use curiosity-driven headlines, things that make people think. Another big one is, remember we talked about perceived problem, opening their eyes to a bigger problem, or changing the way they think about it, changing their perception, right? That always makes them stop and think. Things like, instead of using 10 marketing tips, the marketing mistake that's costing your business thousands of dollars or whatever it might be. Start your videos and posts with why it matters to them right away. No, hi, I'm Christy and this and that in a post, in a reels. No, not in your reels. Don't do that. Be everywhere your audience is looking. Visibility isn't about just posting a ton of content. You're going to hear that. Oh, just the more you post, the more popular you'll become. It's about being seen in the right place. And you can do that by repurposing your content, right? One podcast episode can become a blog post. One blog post can become a set of reels, a podcast episode, social media clips, emails that go out, right? Even pieces of the video in your email. Leverage any partnerships you might have. Be a guest on other podcasts and borrow someone else's audience. Collaborate with other people that might influence a like-minded or a like audience, right? And get featured in some articles. People say, oh, it's a waste of my time, but it's not. It builds trust. Show up not just where your competitors are, but where they aren't, right? Smaller forums, smaller groups, be there first. Email lists that you capture, they can be super valuable. Build an audience that you own. Remember, social media is borrowed space. If your business depends 100% on, say, Instagram or 100% on TikTok, you are one algorithm change away from disaster. No, I'm not kidding. One algorithm change away from disaster. Email lists, Facebook groups, other groups, you own those audiences. So work on building an email list just a little at a time. It is a platform that you truly own. Even Facebook groups, right? Facebook gets shut down, your group's gone. Your email is something that you truly own. You can create a community. You can still use Facebook groups. You can use Discord. You can use private memberships. That's a good one because you can own those depending on what platform you're using. And it helps keep people engaged, right? And builds trust. Always provide value before asking for anything. People buy from brands they trust. Let's talk a little bit about that. What are the top brands doing right now to dominate the space? And how can you take that and use it as inspiration for yourself? It is okay to take that as inspiration. Don't copy somebody's exact thing, but take it and use it because there's nothing new under the sun, right? It just is. It is what it is. Some brands, we see them, right? They're everywhere. How are they out there dominating the market? And then we've got others with really great products and services, and they're struggling just to get seen. It's not about having a big budget always. Don't get me wrong, that can help sometimes, but it's not about that. You don't need it. Pardon, it's about the strategy. So let's look again what some of the top brands are doing right now, and then we can look at how you can start using some of those strategies, methods, tactics today. One big thing, you'll hear it all the time. They tell stories. They don't sell products, right? Big brands, they know that facts tell, but stories sell. That's right. Say it again. Facts tell, but stories sell. They focus on emotions. They make their audience feel something. Why? Because people buy based on their emotion, not based on logic and what they need, just like we mentioned earlier. So, and this is nothing new. Storytelling was alive and well this was used in marketing for many, many years, back in print and emotionally driven headlines. And come on, hooks are just headlines. Remember the paper? I used to be a newspaper deliverer, no joke. So you can use customer success stories. You can show real results, real testimonials, real transformation. You can share behind the scenes content, let people get to know you, connect with you. Because again, people connect with people, not logos. But you should still have a good, memorable logo. But they're going to connect with you, not your logo. Show the outcome, show the impact, show the emotional side of it, not just features and here's the product. How does your product or service actually change lives? How does it change their everyday life? How does it bring them more money back into their wallet, right? Let's talk about that. Let's show that, depict it. Other thing brands are doing, they create omnipresence with multiple touch points. You're going to hear this. It often takes 7 to 12 interactions before someone buys. Not always, but a lot of times. Big brands do not just rely on an ad or on a social media channel. They create an entire ecosystem to nurture, right? So how can you do this being a small business? Well, you can start by being visible in multiple places. Work on your SEO, right? Get people to your pages. Get them to your blogs. You can do email marketing, capture those emails, get them in there. You can do a mix of organic content, reels, regular posts, different types of content. You can do collaborations with others to borrow each other's audiences. You can use retargeting strategies if you're using paid ads, or even if you're just using other methods, you can then go in and retarget them. If someone visits your site, don't let them just disappear. Retarget them with the valuable content. And that does not mean sales pitches. No one likes that. We don't like that. Bad. Don't do that. Follow up, but not the dreaded follow up. Most sales actually occur after the first interaction. So email nurturing, people nurturing, connecting through DM, nurturing is key, but not just to offer a sale. Brands understand their audience better than their competitors. That's how they're doing it. Like a big brand, they don't guess. They do research and analysis all day long. We do that for our clients. They know their audience's problems better than they do. They know their desires. They know their struggles inside and out. They know the perceived problem and then the actual problem. They know the mini little problems and then the actual umbrella big problem. So how can you do this? Talk to people. Talk to your customers. Surveys, DMs, phone calls, conversations, groups. Connect in groups. Alignable. That's a big one that we use right now. Use analytics. See what's working. Track engagement and adjust. Watch your competitors. Don't steal their stuff. You can steal inspiration. Don't steal their stuff, but watch what's working. Create offers based on what they actually want, not what you think they want, your customers, right? That's a big mistake I see. So again, I'm going to reiterate, if your business is feeling invisible, it's probably not because your product or service is not good enough. I mean, evaluate that, make sure it is, but it's probably because you're not being seen in the right way. Your messaging is off. You're not in the right places, speaking to the right people. Pardon, you're trying to sell, right? And nobody likes that. Nobody likes that, right? You solve problems. Become a problem solver, not a salesperson. Become a problem solver. I went into a call just today, and this was with a client that has an MSP company similar to mine, believe it or not. And they also have some SaaS services and things like that. And I can tell you that all I did after introducing myself, making the connection, humanized contact, is I listened. No joke. This was a 37-minute call, and I spent the first 20 minutes just listening. In fact, they said, oh my gosh, you probably are regretting scheduling this call with me. I'm up on my soapbox, and I'm like, no, because the more I can understand their pain, their perceived problems, it's easier for me to look on the outside in than it is to see through when you're on the inside, right? Can't see the forest through the trees. We've heard it. That's what that means. You can't see it objectively, and you can't see from a 360-degree view. You can't see down. You can't see where you need to see. So by listening, I was really able to understand what some of the perceived problems were and when it happened, and it allowed me to work backward in problem solve mode. Not once during that 20 minutes of listening and then the next, the subsequent 10, 13 minutes from there, did I come in and say, well, we can offer this, or here's our features and benefits. Never. I didn't do that, right? I instead worked backward through their problem. I asked a lot of questions around it, and then I gave them the strategies I would use, which, by the way, was not even what they got on the call to discuss. When we did the outreach, we were offering a LinkedIn lead generation service. After listening to them, I actually suggested other options. Now, we can certainly help them, and I let them know, I'm happy to help you with this. I'm confident that we can do it by this, this, and this. But I mapped out a plan, a roadmap, and I gave him, fully gave, not just gave this little, high level of this piece and this mystical, magical thing up here that you'll have no idea how to do it. No, I actually gave the exact strategies that I would use, had him write it down, and then even offer for my team to go in and go a little more in depth into the investigation to see a little bit more around their Google local ranking and Google local business efforts. That way we can give them some very specific tips. So I will email those additional tips over to them. And I told them, whether you partner with us or not, here's the strategies that are going to take you where you need to go. I'm confident this is what you need to do in order to get to the desired outcome, to solve this lead flow problem, this pipeline problem that you said has started, a year and a half ago. So I also gave some other out-of-the-box strategies, outside the box thinking strategies, methods, ideas, not your basic out-of-the-box. So correct myself, not an out-of-the-box solution, cookie cutter, nothing like that. I was thinking outside the box and looking at some other options that might work for them. So whether they choose to work with me or not, and I can tell you that every single call I got onto during the month of December, right? I could think of a handful because I have a team that helps me now, but a handful that I got on. I can tell you that out of that, 90% of them are now clients. But out of that, I want you to know, the majority of that group, only 2 signed on immediately. The other group, that's right, we onboarded 2 last week, just onboarded another today, had a second follow-up conversation just last week with one of them, and now they're reaching out again. So like I said, sometimes you may feel disappointed because you did this problem solving and worked through and gave these strategies and you thought, well, I just solved this little problem and that's it. I'm not going to hear from them. But actually, sometimes people will move forward right then. Sometimes I'll have a really high close rate, right? We usually have over 70% close rate. But the close rate the close doesn't always happen right then. I have someone that we just onboarded today that it's been 2 months since our first conversation, right? So don't get discouraged if you solved a mini problem and now you haven't heard, but do follow up with them. Not to sell, nope, to check in with them. How did that work for you? Pardon. And you can follow up a couple times, not the gag me follow-ups, Hi, just calling to follow up and see if you're ready to move forward. Don't do that. No. Instead, follow up to genuinely check in on them and see how the strategy worked for them. Because number one, it might need adjustment, right? You're taking what they tell you in 15 or 20 minutes. You might need to adjust it. And number two, to really see how it worked. Is there something you can tell them now? Is there something you can, kind of trigger their memory? And then they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I do want to move forward on this. I was also told, I was in this conference, probably about a month ago, and I was listening, and I love being able to learn from all these different perspectives, right? And I really respect a lot of the perspectives, and sometimes we disagree. One of the observations or perspectives, the trainings, was talking about how giving them too much up front is actually causing them to not get on a discovery call with you, and you're going to lose them. They're never going to contact you again, right? And I had a discussion with this person after the conference, and we were talking, and I said, respectfully, I found the opposite is true. When I go into great detail about a full marketing plan, and I give them every last detail, and I give them descriptions, and I take the time to do that, I give that to them. They don't take it and just implement it 90% of the time. Implementation is the problem. That's what they need the help with, right? They might have needed the strategy, but implementation is where they need assistance. They don't follow through, it fails, whatever the issue is, right? They don't have the time, they don't have the desire, whatever it might be. So I actually give them more, and I go against the standard teaching. But for me, it works. I would say that 9 times out of 10, I get a better response. I build more trust. I've instilled confidence, showing them that we can solve this issue. This is going to work. And I make sure to give them quick wins up front to show them that, look, we know what we're talking about, right? This works. Try this little bit works. So imagine what's going to work if we implemented the whole plan, right? And then you do your follow-up, but not the gaggy sales follow-up. The follow-up, the genuine, what's going on? How did it work? How did the strategy work out for you? Did you have a chance to implement it? That kind of follow-up to check in on them. It's a check-in. Let's call it a check-in, not a follow-up. Right. So those are some of the really important things I see. I know we went off on a tangent as usual, but that's really important in order to move to the next step once you do become visible. Right. And you don't have to start out becoming visible to millions. You can start out becoming visible to a small group and building trust within that group and then moving from there. You can do it just like the big brands, right? Your business deserves to be seen, heard, and paid. That's right. To let it grow, to have it grow. So let's get your business above the noise. Now, remember, if you are a business owner who is tired of wasting money on marketing that doesn't work, and you just want real, actual results without contracts, well, then I have something for you. We follow a very simple, no contracts, just results approach, and we help business owners A to Z, right? Healthcare, service-based, e-commerce, attorneys, you name it, home services. We help their business grow without the headaches. So if you want to see what's working right now for your business industry, I encourage you to grab our free 30-day growth blueprint, and you can go to nextlevelconnected.com or DM me on any platform at the Profitability Pathmaker, and I will personally send you a plan, an actual plan like I talked about, to help you bring in more leads, more patients, more customers, clients for free, no strings attached. And if you found today's episode helpful, I would love if you'd share it with a fellow business owner who's been struggling with their marketing or visibility. I'm Christy Wilson, and I cannot wait to hear how these strategies worked for you and your business. Again, let's get your business above the noise, and I'll see you next time.